Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey here on the morning show, and we are getting ready to talk about another fun thing to do here in the South Sound. And once again, Oly on Ice is back, and I have got two great guests in studio today to talk a little bit more about it. Paul Simmons is the director for Olympia Parks, Arts, and Recreation, and Ben Reuter is from Small to Tall Pediatric Dentistry, the premier sponsor of Oly on Ice this year. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I am well, thanks, and thanks for being here. This was quite the event last year when it first came about, and I know for a month or more leading up to it, people started to see this building come up there at Isthmus Park, and everybody was peeping in, trying to get a look at what this was going to be, and it is the indoor ice skating rink, and it's back again and bigger than ever. So, Paul, first, since I got you here, where did this idea initially come from to bring this type of event to Olympia?
Yeah, it actually was an idea back in the kind of the right at the height of the recession. One of our Jonathan Turlove's one of our he's the director of parks planning and maintenance, and he had come up with the idea, and at the time he was an associate planner, and he had done all the research and tried to figure it out, and then of course the recession hit and our department had to retract because of minimized resources, and so that it just kind of got shelved, and nobody really thought about it for a few years, and then I started working for the city of Olympia at the end of 2013, and that was right around the time that the city, just after the city had purchased the two Isthmus parcels. And if you recall, there were two older buildings. There was the Housing Authority, and then I forget
the old Department of Health building?
Yeah, the old Department of Health building as well. And we actually had a ground breaking when we demolished them, had a little celebration down there, and our other director of recreation and arts and events was standing there, and I remember it was like a really sunny day, and the buildings are leveled and cleared, and he's kind of looking around and he sees Capitol Lake and the Capitol, and you look over this way and you can see, the Puget Sound across behind Bayview, and he's just thinking, man, this would be a great place for an ice rink. So he picked up the kind of the old plans off the shelf and kind of dusted them off, and it took us, another couple of years to really learn about what it's like. And we've contracted with Ice Rink Events. They run 90 of these around the country, so they're really the expert. We knew nothing about running an ice rink until we went down this venture. So having a contracted expert be able to come in and do all of the technical things that you need to be able to run an ice rink was a lifesaver for us, and we were able to pull it off. And we were a little nervous about it because it is subsidized, and you never know how the community is going to respond. And I was just so excited last year. It's probably I've been in parks and recreation for 20 to 25 years now, and it's probably the most just genuine excitement I've ever seen for a project or a program that, I've been a part of. And it was really special.
It was every time I drove by it, and even when I went and participated, it was packed. There was always people there, and you could hear as you drove by the laughter, and just you could see folks in and out with smiles on their faces. And it really, especially with it being winter holiday time, it's really kind of, it's like a fun movie magical moment to be out there on the ice skating rink. And this year, and you can find out more on the City of Olympia's website. We'll put the links in the show notes, also on Facebook and things like that. But it is bigger than ever. Is that right now? 5,000 square feet. So it's almost, is it double the size or close to?
It's not quite double the size, but what we found last year, there were times, particularly on weekends and kind of those peak times, where it felt kind of crowded out there. We had over 20,000 skaters last year, and so just when you have that many people coming in a space like that, it feels crowded. And so we made the tent longer, and we made the rink wider, and in doing that, and then also too, we have great incredible sponsorship
Yeah.
support. One of our sponsors is here with us today, Small to Tall. Another one of our key presenting sponsors is Propel Construction, and for their sponsorship, they actually leveled the ground for us in kind. It did a whole bunch of construction work for us that allowed us to make the rink wider, and also will save us like $12,000 a year moving forward. Because if you remember last year, we had kind of a big deck and ramp when you got inside the
Yep.
tent. Because of their sponsorship and work, we didn't need to do that, and so now the rink is bigger. So it when you go in, the layout's much more natural. It's a better flow. It even when it is busy and crowded, it doesn't feel nearly as crowded, and it's a better flow when you're putting on your skates and getting on the ice. There's, for those that have never ice skated before, there's more rail space.
Yes.
For those who have ice skated, there's a lot more room to maneuver in the middle, and so it's a better experience this year than last year, just because it is bigger. And you wouldn't think that that one small little section, because we are limited by the footprint
Yeah.
of that space, and you wouldn't think that one small section would make a difference. But when you walk in the tent, if you've gone in year one, when you go in year two, it's noticeably different and upgraded.
Ben, from Small to Tall online, smalltotall.info is the website. You can find out more there. Were you guys a sponsor last year, or did you just see how great it was and decided to get on board this year?
Yeah, well, my partner and I, Dr. Scott Rowley at Small to Tall, we were not a sponsor last year, but both being Olympia residents and myself and my family living close to downtown, we got a chance to see Oly On Ice kind of come to life. Did not actually visit last year, but Dr. Rowley did get a chance to go with his family. And so when we heard about it coming back and just the opportunity to sponsor such an event that has brought a lot of excitement to downtown Olympia and just offers really an experience for kids and families to kind of come together and just have something that we don't really have in this area of the south of the Puget Sound.
Now tell us a little bit about your dentistry.
Well, dentistry, I guess now that hearing what Propel offer, maybe we should offer dental trauma mouth guards or something next year. But as far as us, we are a pediatric dental office in Olympia, so we see specifically just kids, and so we see them from birth up until about the time they graduate from high school, and sometimes we get those college kids coming back still.
Have you had a chance yet to get out on the ice?
I have. Yeah, we have gotten a chance to go down for the sponsor VIP event.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time actually getting a chance to go down there. I got a chance to bring my family, and I was just blown away actually by my own kids who are 10, 7, and 4. This was their first time going out on the ice, and I did not think that they were going to take to it, but I do appreciate the extra rails space because they definitely enjoyed holding on to the rails, and they have a lot of great little carts, little walkers.
Yeah, I
for the
remember
little
seeing
kids.
those last year. That's a good thing for folks.
I do have to take off my Oly On Ice hat for a minute and just talk as a Small to Tall customer, because I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I can tell you I've never had a more pleasant dentist experience than when I take my kids to the dentist. Like, they even give us a cheat sheet of words we can't use, to not freak out the kids. And actually, it's been incredible how the dentist, sometimes some people are a little nervous about going there, but my kids actually love going to the dentist. There's a tree house in the lobby. It's pretty special
it's
place.
You
going
can't
to the
scare the
dentist.
kids away at a young age, for
No.
proper dental and oral health. So back to the ice rink here, and some things to think about. Again, we'll put the links in the show notes and on the website. Obviously, after work times can be a little more congested than others. Weekends as well can be a little congested. How does that all work? If people show up, there's a limit on the rink, on the ice at a certain time, and you just kind of move in and out as it goes?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, with the expanded space, we have more capacity, and it's actually rare. I can only think of a couple of times, even last year, when we hit that capacity. The one thing about ice skating is, as fun as it is, it's also a little bit of work, and it's kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
And so the average skater is about a half hour on the ice. And so naturally, there's enough turnover just as you get out there and you get on the ice, and then you sit down and take a break, and that's like, oh man, it's getting that experience. So for most folks, it's not a long stay. I would say if you're really interested in having having it feel like you have the rink to yourself, the best time to go is right when we open,
Sure.
which currently is 3 o'clock, and then I believe it's 10 o'clock on the weekends, 3 o'clock on the weekdays. But we're about to hit an exciting time when once school's out of session, we'll open up weekend times 7 days a week. So the rink will be available all day long and all evening, 7 days a week throughout the holidays. And then what's also more exciting, last year we closed down the weekend after New Year's, and this year we're actually staying open through Martin Luther King. I think January 20th is our last day, or maybe the 22nd. It's the Monday of Martin Luther King holiday weekend. And so that is, we'll be open longer this year as well.
And then I was down there for the turkey trot the other day, and so the parking is about the same. There's a couple slots next to the rink, but then that whole parking lot next to it is available?
Yeah, correct. There's parking on both sides of the rink, and so if one side feels crowded, you can always pop on the back side and then walk around the sidewalk to get in the front door. But last year, parking, there were a lot of people that were worried about parking when we talked about the idea, and it ended up not being much of an issue. I didn't receive a single complaint about parking last year, so it seems as though most people were able to figure it out.
Well, you can always go to the City of Olympia's website to learn more. You can just search for Oly on Ice. You find it on Facebook as well. We'll put the links in the show notes. Paul, Ben, thanks for coming on and talking with us about this. It was fun last year, and I'm excited to take the family again this year for this one.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.